AEW Revolution 2025 is this Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, so let's dive in with some quick fire predictions. Gonna kick things off with the pre-show match. We've got a big boom AJ teaming with Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe, going against Mason Madden and Mansoor teaming with Johnny TV. Look, this is on the pre-show. It's been great business so far for AEW to have big boom AJ a part of there. The social media following is doing very well, and for someone like myself who's not really into this so much, I think it's great having it on the pre-show. It gets numbers for AEW. It's a win-win all around, if you ask my personal opinion. I'm going for the baby faces to pick up the victory, so that'll be Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and of course big boom AJ for the dub. Going on to the main show then, let's go on to the match I'm most looking forward to of the entire show. For the number one contendership for the AEW World Championship, we've got Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet. So looking forward to this, to see Swerve potentially get back into the World Championship scene. Ricochet as a heel has been electric to watch in AEW, probably my favourite thing over the last couple of months, to see, you know, toilet rolls being thrown to him from balconies of arenas, to just seeing him just where he is, just everything has been absolutely superb. This has got quite personal, to be fair, quite quickly. Obviously, we've seen some blood involved with these two, scissors being involved as well, and Prince Nana's cloak being stolen as well by Ricochet, who has said he will bring it to Revolution, but it wasn't present at the contract signing. How do I predict this is going to go on the show? To be honest, either way this one could go, but as I've mentioned before, Swerve Strickland getting potentially back into the AEW World Championship picture is something that I think can't wait any longer. I think he needs this more at this particular moment. Obviously, currently Jon Moxley is the world champion. I think if you have Ricochet win this, you won't do heel versus heel, where if Swerve wins, there is a chance you could do Cope versus Swerve or Moxley versus Swerve. So for that reason, it's more interesting for me that the babyface, if you will, of the two, how can I say that about Swerve Strickland, but you know, the more face of the two actually picks up the dub here. And of course that probably means that Swerve would get the shot at AEW Dynasty in April, and of course that's where he won the world title last year, so it could be kind of a full circle moment. So Swerve for me picking up the dub against Ricochet, and like I say, match I'm clearly most looking forward to on this show. And that's not to say I'm not looking forward to the rest of the card. This one is absolutely stacked from top to bottom, so let's go straight in with the International Championship. Konosuke Takeshita going against Kenny Omega. These two have had 5-star classics in the past. Of course, Kenny Omega diving straight back into AEW TV at Grand Slam, and of course going straight back in to rivaling with the Don Callis family, just where he left off previously before he had to take a lot of time off and be on the shelf. Of course, now to go for the International Championship, which Takeshita's done great work with over the past few months. I think is a great way to come back into things. Of course, these two were involved in the tag team match at AEW Grand Slam in Australia. To give a prediction, I'm going to go similar as what happened in Australia. I'm going for Kenny Omega to pick up the victory, and on this occasion I'm going for a brand new champion. For those who remember that tag team match at Grand Slam, Kenny Omega's tag team partner was Will Ospreay, and Takeshita's tag team partner was Kyle Fletcher. Well, Ospreay and Fletcher have unfinished business. It's time for the rubber match, and this time it's inside a solid steel cage. AEW do phenomenal cage matches, so I'm excited for this just for that reason alone. And then you look at the two previous matches we've seen with Ospreay and Fletcher. Fletcher picking up the victory, of course, at Full Gear last year, and of course Ospreay picking up the win at World's End. This is the rubber match, and for me, although Fletcher could do with the win to be the brand new star for pushing forward into the summer of 2025, I do think we should go with the established here. I think Will Ospreay picks up the victory inside the cage, and he moves on, potentially go back towards a championship scene in AEW. For the AEW TBS Championship, Mercedes Mone will defend the championship against Momo Watanabe. Should be an interesting match. These two have had a previous contest last summer, which Mercedes Mone picked up the win. Momo apparently won a tournament of some description in Japan, and she got to challenge for any championship she wanted, I believe in Stardom, I believe New Japan, CMLL and AEW. She chose Mercedes Mone. So for me, seeing that we're going to get this match, and apparently it was a banger last year, I haven't seen it, so I'm looking forward to seeing what these two deliver here at AEW Revolution. I'm going for Mercedes Mone to pick up the victory. It does feel like a bit of a filler feud for me in the meantime, until we get Mercedes into perhaps something more meaningful, going into perhaps maybe AEW Dynasty. So yeah, Mercedes Mone to pick up the dub. For the AEW Tag Team Championships, we've got the Hurt Syndicate defending against the Outrunners. I'm so pleased to see the Outrunners are getting a tag team title opportunity in a plain tag team match as well on pay-per-view. It's great to see. The gimmick is over. They're really hot with the fan base. However, they're going against the Hurt Syndicate. Literally one of the most polished, million-dollar looking factions, groups that you will in AEW right now. They are legit, they are badasses, and let's be honest, they hurt people. There is no other prediction to make than a Hurt Syndicate here. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin should not be made to look weak in this tag team match. The Outrunners maybe should have a glimmer of hope for about 20 seconds. In my opinion, the rest of this, it should be dominant, it should be one-sided, it should be Bobby and Shelton retaining those tag team titles. For the Continental Championship, we've got Kazuchika Okada going against Brody King. Well, Okada did defeat Buddy Matthews just recently in Australia. It only seems fitting to go against the tag team partner after this, Brody King. I think this will be a fantastic match, but I think that's where it ends for me. Okada is going to be, well, Continental Champion. It feels forever at this point. I've got Okada to retain. For the AEW Women's World Championship, Timeless Toni Storm defending against Mariah May. The Hollywood ending. Love that tagline. It's fantastic to see. It is the rubber match, the third installment of this, the trilogy, if you will. And of course, there's something interesting about the previous two matches, because Mariah May won the AEW Women's World Championship from Timeless Toni Storm at All In London, where Mariah is from, and of course Toni Storm winning the championship back from Mariah May from her home country of Australia. We're on neutral territory for this one. This last match is in the States, and to be honest, to give a prediction, I think Timeless Toni Storm is going to walk away victorious. The most established woman in the AEW Women's Division, and of course, well, with the Queen of the Ring movie coming out very shortly as well, and she's taking part in that, I believe that it is the right move for Toni Storm for AEW socials, for press, for everything else, to have her hold the AEW Women's World Championship at this time. So Toni Storm pick up the win for me. Next is the match that's probably hardest to predict in my opinion. MJF going against Hangman Adam Page. Now these two have kind of crossed paths through kind of feuding with other people. Hangman Adam Page had stuff going on with Christopher Daniels, led to a Texas Death Match, and of course after the loss, Daniels was forced to retire from professional wrestling. On the other side, MJF has been feuding with Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, of course, wanted to get back into his into the World Championship scene. It's being his final year of wrestling, and of course, Jeff Jarrett is also someone that's actually had a bit of a program going on with Hangman Adam Page towards the latter end of last year. Again, I think going and resulting in a Texas Death Match, if I'm not mistaken. I don't always watch Collision. However, when it comes to MJF and Hangman crossing paths, well, they started getting each other's faces, and it became an issue week on week. They've got personal on promos, and to be fair, it's got personal in ring this week with a pull apart, and of course MJF trying to set Hangman on fire. From that reasoning, this is what's going to lead me to my prediction, because usually if you've watched this channel for a while, you know how I like to look at things. I look at the go home show, who comes out looking strongest, and that usually means it's the reverse when it comes to pay-per-view. That was an old WWE formula. AEW doesn't always stick to that formula. They can switch things up, which makes this one quite unpredictable. But my old school head can't help but feel Hangman Adam Page will pick up the victory this weekend. I think he needs it more at this particular time as well. I think MJF can get away with a loss on this show. I'm not even sure necessarily that this feud is done after this match, which is for another reason why I'm going to go for Hangman to pick up the win, for MJF then to want to get retaliation later on. So yeah, for that reason, I'm going to go for Hangman Adam Page to pick up the victory. And again, if this leads to someone going to the world title scene, again, it's more interesting if, I suppose, a face, if you will, is going towards it, even though we know that it's actually going to be Swerve or Ricochet that would get a title shot first. But if it happens to be Swerve like I've predicted, then someone that needs to be closer to that is Hangman Adam Page, because, you know, fight forever, the history those two have got, and all that stuff. And the main event of the show for the AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley will be defending against Adam Copeland. Looking forward to this match. This should be a good one. First time ever meeting between these two, singles match as well, and Cope has done something that no one else has been able to do on the road to getting a championship match has actually got rid of the rest of the Death Riders group away from Jon Moxley. We've seen Willow Nightingale take out Marina Shafir. We've seen Pac being put on the shelf with, I believe, was a concerto, same for Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta simply just beat him in a match and show him respect. Moxley didn't like the fact that Wheeler showed respect back to Cope, therefore Moxley got pissed and Wheeler just walked out on Jon Moxley. So success. Moxley's on his own. It's going to be interesting to see how then the match will play out, because Moxley at this point has used the numbers to his advantage since winning the AEW World Championship, of course, in the autumn of last year. Well, when it comes to this then, will Moxley find a way despite being on his own, or are we going to get a new world champion? The thing I suppose that I should mention at this point is that Cope hasn't done this alone. He's had help along the way. FTR have been watching his back at places, but someone else who's probably come out from left field that's been watching Adam Copeland's back is Jay White. Of course, Jay White was a teammate of Cope in a Brisbane brawl at the AEW Grand Slam Australia show against Moxley and, of course, Claudio Castagnoli just last month. So, going into the prediction, it's interesting because we heard Jay White actually talk on AEW this past week, and he said that he's going to watch Cope win the world title this weekend. I've always felt Jay White's better as a heel, and I don't know why, but something tells me that Jay White is going to be the reason why Cope doesn't get the job done here. One thing's for sure, I'm sure Moxley is retaining the AEW World Championship. The only thing I'm not sure of 100% is how. I think someone else is going to help, and I think it's going to be someone that's not necessarily going to be a part of the Death Riders moving forward, and for me, the most logical one is Jay White. I don't see FTR turning, for example. So yeah, I think Jay White is going to cost Cope the match, because Jay White's not on this show anywhere else. He's almost become like the sidekick to Cope, and I don't think Jay White plays sidekick very well. I think he wants to be the man, and I think that leads into a really good feud for Cope and Jay White going in towards the summer, where Mox can find, well, hopefully Swerve Strickland for AEW Dynasty. So that's my predictions there for AEW Revolution 2025. Let me know your predictions down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well, that good stuff that helps this channel grow on YouTube. But thanks for watching, look after yourselves and each other. If you want to see more from the channel in the meantime, check out this video on the side of your screen right now. Take care, all the best, I'll see you for the next one.